Hello everybody and welcome back to Blockbench tutorial, episode 2. So, in the previous tutorial, we learned about, well, you learned about this UI right here. Everything important, that is, all the other side stuff like group and toggle more options and stuff like this. Some of this stuff I haven't told you, and that's because it's not important and you can just start modeling without having to know it. But why would you need to do that? Anyways, so we're now moving on to this paint UI. You see when you click paint, all this happens, and it can be a little confusing. What does which? What does opacity do? What does softness do? What does all this? So I'll be teaching you that today. Okay, that's something else I've been working on. More spoilers for what I'm trying to do. Right, so to begin we're going to just make another Java block/item. And I'll call this test2. Oops, I have caps lock on, whatever. Yeah, whatever, create. Okay, so let's put down, let's say put a cube down. Or make it a little bigger. You should know how to do this now. There we go, it's literally a cube. Let's try to make a clown nose. I hate clowns, but I literally can't think of anything else to make. Okay, no, scratch that, we're making a red ball. Just move this to the center there. There we go. Yeah, red ball. No, totally not. Yeah. Anyway, so we're not doing all this stuff today. We're just clicking this. But you'll see if we try to paint or do anything, it says surface does not have a texture. Remember what I said last video about this just being like like just a representative, and like in game it will actually look pink and white, whatever the broken texture color is. That's what I'm talking about here. So this is a little bit of an extra, but I'm going to teach you how to even like make the texture as well as with the texture GUI, because that's the only way that we can really do this. Sorry, I'm cracking my fingers. Alright. Okay, so we have our cube. Let's say for some reason it's unselected and nothing really appears, nothing's up here, nothing's up here. Right, we want to make sure that we click this, or click it so that it's highlighted. Go over to the left side here and click Create Texture. Now we can name it whatever we want, we can just name it anything. But I genuinely prefer to name it the same thing as the model, so then you can actually tell what it's for. So, test2. The folder is what folder you put it in. You really don't have to do anything with this because you can do all that after. And then there is type. So texture template makes it so that whatever cubes you have selected, it just makes a texture specifically for them, and it automatically textures all of the sides differently. That's really good when you're making like something big, but when you're making something small that's not really like it's complicated or anything, you can click this and click blank, and it will literally, if we click continue here, we have our 16 by 16 blank texture. Of course though, even if we go into paint and we try to paint it, it's still not going to have a texture because we haven't actually put this on the model. We just said we have a texture now. So texture, so select it, right click, texture, test2, because that's the name of our texture. And you can see it's invisible because there's no paint. So if we go here and we'll just cover this all up. Now, how painting works is the side of the cube, so there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, because we're making everything in cubes, every single thing will have every single pixel or cube, even a rectangle like like this. It doesn't, rectangle stuff can't change it. And since we have no other shapes than this, well, all cubes effectively have all the 6 sides. So how it works is, let me just show you something interesting. So up here, we can change what part of the... So this is on the north, which means it's pointing this way. So basically what we can do... So this is what it looks like. So this is basically just what this is. So from the north, this is what it looks like. From the east, this is what it looks like. From the south, this is what it looks like. Don't believe me? Oh my god, it's no way. Okay. So let me show you something interesting if you don't get it. Okay. So this is basically saying, but that's only for the north side. You can see there's an outline over here because that's the down. All of them are on this one thing. Anyway, so how this works is, when we have the surface of a cube here, this is the north surface, the texture that it actually has is represented by this blue cube, this blue square, sorry, on the texture file. So basically, wherever we move this cube is what it actually takes and puts on the cube. So it doesn't just automatically snap to like this side or this side or this side or something like that. You can move it wherever you want. So to make a red ball, we might want some more lighter color. Some light stuff up the top here. Okay, that looks kind of like a present now. So, you're probably wondering now, huh? All we did is we did this to the top and did it to all of the sides. That's because all of the sides are all on this one thing. So this isn't just the top or the bottom or the left or right or anything like that. This is the whole thing. So, if I do this and apply it to all faces, all the faces are now going to be applied to this area on the texture PNG. And since it's blank, it's not there. So if you want to make like a specific top texture and a specific bottom texture, then you're going to have to do something a little different. So let's put this here and apply all here. So this is just on the sides, so we don't actually have this texture. Of course, on the south, you can tell with this. Okay, so let's go from scratch. You can kind of see a red outline. This is just a glitch, by the way. You can't really fix this unless you move it another pixel away, but it's really annoying, so you don't have to bother with it. Anyway. So now we want to make a top texture, right? So let's say we want the top texture to be green. But we only want the top to be green and not the rest of this. Well, first of all, we'll move any of these up, down, left, right, doesn't matter, to here, and then click Apply to all faces. And then we'll click the top bit here, and this will automatically select the up face, and I'll drag this and this alone to the top here. Ta-da! You've now mixed two different areas on a texture onto one object, if that makes any sense. Anyway, aside from that little mini tutorial, we're going to be talking about the menu GUI. I hope you actually understand what's just happened here. I've been trying to, I don't really know how else to explain it, so I'm just going to move on. But if you have any questions, I might be able to answer them if you put them in the comments. Anyway, let's move on. So now that we know how this actually works, how do we use the Paint GUI? Okay, I'm gonna have to speed run through a little bit of this because but I'll only speed run through the basic stuff that you can get really easily. Like the stuff that's not mind-blowing. First of all though, I'm just going to erase this, because we don't really care about the top texture or not. Put the top texture back here. Okay. Paintbrush. This is literally this is the only brush you use to paint every individual cube on its own. So we want this, or this, or this. Oops, I accidentally held my mouse there. So click, 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 click. Does that to all of it. Undo, 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 undo. Your undo might not be here either, but if you followed from the last tutorial, you should know how to do it. Click the toolbar, customize, search it up. And it should just appear here, and you can just click it. Anyway, you might notice it has a little drop down. It didn't actually used to have this, but it does now. And I've barely tinkered with it. Like, you really don't need to do this unless you're doing really weird stuff that I've never had to do before. So there's the pixel brush, which is just a normal one, which puts in each pixel. Or if you want to get really technical, there's the smooth brush, which makes something like this. Okay, I might have to make something a little bit bigger for you. So let's put a cube and let's just inflate it big. So we'll just move it to that. Apply to all faces. So it doesn't have a texture, right? Let's just move it here, apply to all faces. Okay. So this is kind of what it does. It just kind of makes brightness a thing. And the longer you hold it, the more compact it gets, until it's 100% that color. It's like using the opacity setting, but much simpler. I don't like to use this though because it's weird and I don't really have a use for it. I've never had to, at least. But think of it like this. I want to make a gas texture. There you go, there's your gas texture. So if you want to make something kind of like gas or something like that, something like opaque somewhere and not opaque another, you can use this setting, but I just genuinely don't really use it for much anyway. Alright. Pixel brush, we'll just cover this in real quick so that we have something we're working off. Okay, so there's also preset here, which lets you use a different preset that we have. This is only used for like speed terms. So like if you want to do something quicker than normal and you have like a specific color and a specific opacity setting you want it to set to, you can do this. I never really use it though. So it's not really that required. So these are really the only two options that you'll probably use. And then there is copy brush and click. Okay, let's try this. Let's try this. We're all learning here. Control, click. Control, click. Oh. So that's like using the copy paste tool, but easier. Okay, that's interesting. Well, I've just learned something there. Okay, let's just clear this up a little. Oh my god, I need to get to the size area to make this faster. Okay. So moving on, we've done the paint, copy, and now we have the paint bucket. Now, the most useless way you could use this, yeah, I'm actually starting off with that, is by picking a color, clicking anywhere in here, and that's the most useless way you can use this. I guarantee you, if you want to make a decent texture, you'll never ever do that. Ever in your whole life. But here's what it's really for. So say oh hey, I want it. So I have the top and the bottom or something. So let's do the top and bottom trick again. I want the top to be different. Well, instead of having to click the pixel and hold, click, and just do this, I can just do that. So what I mean is, instead of filling every pixel in one by one, or instead of increasing the size of the brush, we can literally just use the paint bucket and click on a surface, and it will fill that specific surface of that specific cube with that specific color. It's still not used like often, but it's like, it's handy to have, like just in case, you know. Then there's the eraser. You could not paint without this. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's basically just the pixel brush, but it removes, like, makes things transparent. So in the game, if I were to do this, hold up. In the game, this would appear as nothing at all. Like, look, he's holding nothing. See? He's literally holding nothing. So it literally just makes things transparent and completely deletes them off the PNG file. Handy if you make mistakes though. And you can always undo that as well. Like, you can undo the eraser. It also changes with its own brush size, so if you want to make it 2 pixels at once, or 3 pixels at once, or 4 pixels at once, or 5 pixels at once, or 50 pixels at once, you get the picture. It's so big it can't even fit on the screen. Anyway, the color picker. Oh my god. Hold on, let me just undo a couple steps. I need to find where I just made it red. Okay, I don't know where I made it red. Alright. Hold up. So, the color picker. Let me just fill this in real quick so we actually have something to look at. So say, oh, I have a slightly darker shade of red, but whoopsie daisy, I click somewhere else, and I don't know where to find it. Well, in normal situations, if you do something like this, it'll actually just appear right here in your bar where you've got colors. So if you have a color like this, and you actually use it, if you click anywhere else on the color palette or change the color, it'll just be pushed to the right by one. So this is the actual one. This is the one that this is. But if you do that so many times that it gets pushed off the palette, and you don't know how to get that color back, you click the color picker, and you click on the pixel, or, see, I clicked anywhere on the red area and I got the exact red color. I click here and I got the exact, well, whatever this is, maroon? Something like that. Anyway, I want red, and I want to paint this. Bing. See? It's cool. Super handy, amazing tool. Draw shape. Draw shape. So, draw shape is also not a very used thing. But it lets you draw things like ovals and stuff without having to do the hard work. So, rectangle, hollow. I can literally just hold left click and do that. I don't use this much. I probably should use it more. But it just lets you do that. It's pretty basic. It's really simple to use. Except the lips. I don't know what the hell. The hell. Look at this. Look how weird this is. Oh wait, I can make a circle with it. That's handy. Okay, yeah, you can make a circle with it. And then you can also make it hollow as well. Are there more? No, there aren't. Okay, that's all you can do with it. It's pretty basic. Gradient tool. Hoo-wee, here we go. Ta-da! We have gradient. pretty basic. So I just hold left click where I want it. And with whatever color I have selected here, it's just going to do it wherever I use my mouse in a gradient, which is handy, but I've never personally used this really. What? Okay, I don't know what I just did there. And then we have the copy paste tool. This is possibly one of my favorite tools out of the whole menu up here. Say, oh, this is like, let's just pretend this is way more textured than it actually is. Like it has this. It's like lighter as it goes. It's just like this. And it's kind of like one of those weird orthographic. Like, look how kind of wonky this is. Hold up, this side's... No, this is actually... Okay. Look how wonky that looks. Does it look like this cube surrounded by another cube, surrounded by another cube, surrounded by another cube, surrounded by another cube? That's the power of just texture. That, my friend, is the power of texture. Anyway. I'm totally going off track here. Okay, so say we have this complicated thing, and instead of like color picking all of it, or using the draw shape, or using the copy brush, we can use the copy paste tool. Left click at the one side, drag it to the other, and then we have this thing, a complete duplicate of the area in the texture field, where we can just put it wherever we want. So like, when you let go, you can cancel it, you can move it around, you can rotate 90 degrees, you can mirror X, mirror Y, you can cut it, you can get rid of it, you can do anything you want with it. It's amazing, and it's just the best. Moving on, past these, because we already know what these do. This is the copy paste mode. So with this, if we do this, and then we do this, we move it instead of actually copying it. But if we just want to copy it, we do that. It's pretty simple. Painting grid. Yeah, painting grid's really handy to have. Sometimes it's just really hard, like, if this is all like, say, this is all red. Now tell me, how, without looking at like the actual like size on the edit GUI, how many pixels wide is this? You can't tell. If I zoom in, it could just either be bigger or it could just be zoomed in. You can't tell. But with the grid, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubes wide. So handy. And then the toolbar, yeah, you can always put this up. That's right, you might not even have this up here. I recommend putting the painting grid up, but you really don't need to put this or any of these two here. Anyway, these are all just the same as the edit. Like if you look, they're literally just the same. Here, so the way texture actually works in Minecraft, it stop. Oh my god. Anyways, it uses a hex code. So FFFFFFF is going to be completely white. FFF0000. No, wait, too many. That's yellow, etc. I just put random stuff in. I don't know what I'm doing. 000. All of the zeros is just black, etc. That's how all the color is determined. So it's this color, and when it's in green, it's this color. It's in this green. It's this color. It's yellow. It's in purplish. It's this color. This changes wherever you move it. So if you find if you search up online and you just search up metal hex code, and you can just copy and paste that, and boom, you have a metal hex code. And you don't have to just tinker around with different shades of purple to find the right metal. That's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good. that's actually pretty good. No, that's actually pretty good. That's actually a pretty good metal color. Here's the hex code if you want it. You can also do the weird stuff like you can increase the value, you can increase the hue, you can increase the saturation. So you can increase the saturation, the hue, anything like just with numbers here. You can add this to the palette as well. Pick screen color. You can literally pick a color off your screen. So if I just click this, I get the color. In between, I get the line color. Holy crap. Oh my god. This is just normal outliner, like same thing. This visibility, if you click it, don't worry, you didn't delete your model. It's just invisible. Just click the eye again and it'll come back. Toggle more options. Lock makes it so that you can't change it like you can still make it invisible and not visible, but if I try to paint now, look, I have the paint thing on, but it's just not working. Of course, if I do it in here, it's just different, because I've locked the model, not the texture. But you can also take a picture. Yeah, you can export it, and you can shade it. You can delete it. Anyways, that's this side. Now onto this side. It's just the same thing. Up here is just stuff like things you can do to just make it fit where you want it. You can like pop it out if you want. You can pop it wherever you want. I don't muck around with that too much though. And that is about it on the painting UI. I hope you found this helpful. And the next one, we will be using the display to show you how you can display your item. Note that if you're not using Java items/block, this will probably maybe not be there. It depends what you use. But yeah, that's all for today. And I hope you found this useful. See you later and have a good day. And make great models too, while you're at it. You know, just while you're at it.